Hello, welcome to the fourth video for section 1.1. In this video we are going to learn how to multiply and divide integers, and then we will practice all four operations. So multiplying and dividing is pretty easy because you multiply and divide the numbers like you've always learned. The new thing is that to figure out what sign goes on your answer, you just look at the signs that are on the numbers that are in the problem, and if those numbers have the same signs, then you get a positive answer. So same signs, positive answer. If the two numbers that you're multiplying or dividing have different signs, you get a negative answer. And you can see that in the examples that are shown on this slide. In the first two examples, for both multiplying and dividing, you've got the same signs, two positives and two negatives. So because the signs are the same, the answers are positive. Then when you look at the bottom two examples for both multiply and divide, we've got different signs. We've got negative times positive or positive times negative, and the result is negative because the signs are different, and that works the same way for division. And remember, in algebra, division is often represented with a fraction bar. So when you look at this problem, it's saying -6 divided by +3, different signs, negative answer. And then I also have another column that just has some important division rules that we will use a lot this semester. The first one says 5 divided by 0 is undefined. So anytime you have a problem where you're dividing by 0, that is called undefined because you cannot actually divide by 0. And to kind of show you why that's true, let's think about division that we know the answer to. We can just do this same problem right here. We know that 6 divided by 3 is 2, and the way you check that is through the multiplication because 2 times 3 is 6. So if I wanted to do 6 divided by 0, then the answer would need to be able to multiply by 0 to equal 6, and there is no number times 0 that's going to equal 6. And that is why it's undefined. And kind of a shortcut way of remembering that is under the line is undefined. So anytime 0 is under the line, the answer is undefined. Now if 0 is on the top of the fraction, that would mean 0 divided by 5, and the answer is 0. So 0 on top, 0 is the answer. And the third example here, a number divided by itself is always 1. Also, if you had a variable, maybe you had x and you divide by x, that's 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. And then the fourth one, 5 divided by 1 is 5. Again, that's true for any number or any variable. If you had x divided by 1, that would equal x. So very important, these 4 rules that we just went over. Let's practice getting the correct sign for multiplication. So number 1, again, you just multiply the numbers as you've always done. So 7 times 4 is 28. If you don't know that right off the top of your head, you may want to spend some time reviewing your multiplication facts. There are a lot of places online that you can do that. If you need some help finding a good one, let me know. But it is very important that you do know your multiplication facts. Now for the sign, we've got a positive times a negative. So they have different signs. That means answer is negative. Number 2, we're multiplying 3 times 12, and the answer to that is 36. And these have the same signs. They're both negative. That makes a positive answer. You don't have to put a plus. We'll just leave it as 36. Now in number 3, you're multiplying 3 numbers together. It actually does not matter what order you multiply them in. So let's say I decide to do the 2 times 5 first. So I'm going to bring down the negative 3. 2 times 5 is 10. And then 3 times 10 would be 30. And we have different signs, negative times positive, so negative answer. Number 4, any number, whether it's positive or negative, times 0 is always 0. And then number 5, we've got 4 numbers to multiply. Again, it does not matter the order. I'm going to go ahead and do these 2 together first. 3 times 4 is 12. Same signs, positive 12. And then we'll do these 2. So I'm going to put a dot here for multiplying. You could just keep the parentheses if you want. And these have different signs. So we're going to get a negative answer, and 2 times 3 is 6. And 12 times 6 is 72. Different signs, negative answer. Okay, one more over here. I'm going to kind of do it like I did number 5. I'm going to do these 2 first. 2 times 4 is 8. And same signs, positive 8. These 2 also have same signs, so that's positive. And 2 times 1 is 2. And then, of course, 2 positives will multiply to be positive. Remember when we did the addition problems, we talked about how addition is commutative. Well, multiplication is also commutative, meaning the order does not matter. A times B is the same answer as B times A. So an example with numbers, 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 are both 6. So that is really a nice thing about addition and multiplication, is that you do not have to worry about the order. Subtraction and division are different. They are not commutative, and the order does matter for those. Let's do a few division examples. Remember, just think of this, read the top first and then divided by. So think of this as negative 18 divided by 6. Well, 18 divided by 6 is 3. And we've got different signs, so negative answer, negative 3. On number 2, 48 divided by 12 is 4, because 12 times 4 equals 48. But this time we've got the same signs, positive answer, so it's just a positive 4. Okay, so now I've got 20 problems here for you to practice. It's a mixture of addition and subtraction, multiplication, and division all together here. If the problem has absolute value in it, make sure you take the absolute value first and then you do the operation. Let me go ahead and do one of those with you. Let's look at number 10 here. So if I were going to work number 10, since the negative 4 has the vertical bars, I want to take its absolute value. And remember, absolute value is always a positive number. So that's positive 4. Then I've got the subtraction. I'm going to do the leave, change, change. So I'm going to change that to addition and change that to positive 3. Then I'm going to actually do the operation. And so the correct answer is 7 there. One other thing that I want to mention when you start mixing the operations, because after learning multiplication, a lot of students think, okay, two negatives make a positive, and that is true when you are multiplying. Okay, so we saw earlier, if I multiply negative 2 times negative 4, I get a positive 8. However, that is not true when adding. Okay, that's a total different rule, so be careful. Remember the rule for adding: if they have the same signs, you just add the numbers and you keep that sign. So 2 negatives making a positive is only true for multiplication. So I'm going to let you go ahead and pause right here and then try on your own to answer all of these questions, and then there are a few word problems for you to try as well. So just pause and then work through all of those, and then I will show the answers and you can see how you did. Okay, so once you finish all of those, here are the answers. So go ahead and check to see how you did. If you find that you struggled with some of these and you need some extra help, feel free to send me an email or just let me know during class. You might circle it there on your notes if you want me to go over it during class. The ones that I wanted to go ahead and go through with you real quick were the ones with absolute value. So we already did 10. Look at 18. It had the absolute value of 11 in the denominator. So when you take that absolute value, that turns to positive 11. The bars come off, and then you're doing a negative divided by a positive, making a negative answer. And 19 also had absolute value in it. So the first step is to take the absolute value, and that gives you that positive 18 right there. Then you just keep the rest of the problem. Signs are different, subtract, take the sign of the larger. So again, if you have trouble with any of those, just mark that there on your notes and let me know during class. And let's work through these word problems real quick. If it is 5 degrees outside and the temperature will drop 17 in the next 6 hours, how cold will it get? So we are at 5 degrees. Drop means subtract 17. If you need to do the leave, change, then that would become 5 plus negative 17. Signs are different, so you're going to subtract and take the sign of the larger. And don't forget your units. So the answer is negative 12 degrees Fahrenheit. 22. A scuba diver swam 96 feet beneath the surface of the lake. Okay, so we'll consider the surface like 0. So if he's going beneath the surface, we're going negative. He's at negative 96 feet. He climbs up 49, so that's positive if you're going up. And what is his depth now? So negative 96 plus 49, the signs are different, so you are going to subtract. If you need to work it out like this, certainly you can do that. We would borrow from the 9. This would become a 16, and 16 minus 9 is 7. 8 minus 4. So when you subtract, you get 47. Take the sign of the bigger is negative. Now let's answer the question. What is his depth now? He's negative 47, so we could write that he is 47 feet beneath the surface. So always just make sure and answer whatever question is being asked. Okay, Joe is playing a game with a regular die. If the number that turns up is even, he will gain 5 times the number that comes up. If it is odd, he will lose 10 times the number that comes up. So he tosses a 3. So you decide, well, is 3 even or odd? And 3 is odd. Since he has an odd number, he's going to lose 10 times that number. So he's got a 3. You're going to multiply that by 10. He's going to lose 30. Now it says express the result as an integer. So a loss of 30 would be considered a negative integer. So you would answer negative 30. And again, if there's anything in any of these problems here that you didn't understand, just kind of make a note of that on your notes, and then I'll give you a chance to ask questions on that during class. And I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and then we'll cover exponents in our next video.